Good afternoon from the highly leached ultramafic soils of the island of New Caledonia. I'm in the South Province. Everybody speaks French here. I don't know how to say anything except the words toilet, water, thank you, and hello in French. And I only know how to say toilet water from reading those fancy bathroom products. You know, when you see somebody take a shower at their house or something, you know, and they got like a female roommate who bought some of those expensive toiletries and it says Eau-de-Toilette, you know, toilet water. But anyways, you can see I'm in a pretty remarkable area with some very rare, endemic, and highly localized flora. This is an area known as the Chutes de Madeleine. Now, I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. Half of that's on purpose and half of that is just because I'm a gringo. But regardless, you know, I do what I can. I think it's kind of funny to mispronounce the French language. Anyway, the tree in front of me is a very odd member of the redwood and juniper family called Neocallitropsis pancheri. I believe they might have moved this into the genus Calitris now. There's lumpers everywhere, you gotta watch out. Sometimes it makes sense, sometimes not. I haven't read the paper on this. Regardless, you can see the foliage on this is, well, it's very, it's very coniferous. The climate here, of course, is tropical. It's warm and humid as balls, and you know, it's not normally what you think of. At least you know, people from the northern hemisphere, when they think of conifers, they normally think of pines and spruces and you know, Christmas tree shit like that. However, those are relatively latecomers to the evolutionary game here in terms of conifers. Most of the conifer diversity seems to actually be in the tropics, if not most, and there's certainly a large amount of it. New Caledonia has a very high amount of a conifer diversity. You know, Podocarpaceae, Ericariaceae, got a member of the U family, Taxaceae here, as well as quite a few members of this family, Cupressaceae. Anyway, looking at those terminal branches, you got what appear to be pollen cones. Those are the male pollen cones. And of course, probably due to the substrate it's growing on, like most things here, many different families and many different genera take on this form, this kind of candelabra form, where the branches are all at the distal ends of the shoots, or excuse me, the leaves. The foliage is all at the distal ends of the branches. You know, it's a very odd shape. It's probably due to, you know, they're growing stunted due to the harsh chemistry of the soil. Anyway, let's see what else we got going on here. Got quite a bit more diversity to take a look at. So, anyway, one last thing that's notable about the, you know, the bark on these, it's very cupressaoid. You know, Calitris, you know, Juniperus, all of them, they got this very, this same kind of bark texture. You know, it's much different than the texture of the Araucarias, you know, or even of some of the Podocarps. Again, just such a goddamn odd form for a tree to take. You know, and who knows how many hundreds of years old this is. Oh, look at it. It looks like slag. Oh, what is this? Could it be a Stiphelia? Ericaceae? A little Neocallitropsis seedling. Grew one of these once. I grew one of these for a San Francisco botanic garden and promptly killed it within about a year. It was just far too hot and humid. And, you know, again, these trees are probably well adapted to this kind of substrate. And, you know, it wouldn't be the Southern Hemisphere without a Grevillea. Okay, Eau-de-Toilette. Let's go check it out. And there you go, another interesting conifer with that beautiful buttress trunk, so much like our northern hemisphere Taxodium. This is a Retrophyllum, a member of the Podocarpaceae, the infamous, mostly subtropical southern hemisphere plant family. This is Retrophyllum minus. Oh, look at those beautiful ultramafics. Those beautiful ultramafic rocks over there. There you go, Eau-de-Toilette. Oh, we got a Myrtaceous bastard alert. Look at this guy. Look at those long stamens. Yeah, there's another family that's highly diverse in New Caledonia. Perhaps the most diverse. Myrtaceae. All shapes and sizes. Saw a real interesting one yesterday on our death march attempt at Mount Humboldt. You know, just growing at maybe 100 meters up. You know, almost looked like a giant ficus, but you see those woody capsules on the ground. It was obviously Myrtaceae. The genus began with an A. I can't remember the name. Anyway, this, of course, being a much lower growing shrub, again growing on that relatively barren Ultramafic. Eau-de-Toilette. Are you a Retrophyllum? Look at this. Look at that nice waxy cuticle. You know? You like Podocarps? Did you even know about Podocarps? So many northern hemispheres don't know about Podocarpaceae. You know? And there's one or two horticultural atrocities. I shouldn't call them atrocities because they're quite beautiful. They're not too invasive. They don't really get out of control. They're just overplanted. It's not their fault. But look at that buttress trunk. I mean, you got an aquatic plant syndrome right there with that buttressing. Water's so clean. Water's that's the cleanest Eau-de-Toilette I've ever seen. Just, I mean, I could go bathe in there. I'd drink that. Give me $5, I'll drink that. I don't care. I'll puke. You know, I don't care. Piss out my ass. Give me. What do you got? Oh, I love it. Look at this Myrtaceous bastard. You ever been in a Myrtaceous dungeon? So again, for most Myrtaceae, you got a ring of stamens around a central disc with a stigma popping out in the center. It's a little tiny bug antenna stigma. Real easy flower. You know, you've seen one Myrtaceae, the chances are you could see another one, you know, the flowers at least, and know what it is. And again, they have that sclerophyllous foliage oftentimes. Many times with interesting chemistry and oils, you know. The oil glands. Xanthostomon, there's another interesting one. Oh, right here, look at this. You know, flowers are a little bit damaged, a little bit bad order, but still pretty good. You can see, and then of course you got a capsule. You can see how that those sepals just kind of, you know, fuse into the ovary right there. Okay, Eau-de-Toilette. There you go. Another Myrtaceous guy. This is a Sonantha. And this guy's everywhere. I think that's Liberacci. But this guy's everywhere. You know, and it's relatively indistinct. It's easy to miss if you don't have those flowers. You know, it just looks like a you know, a Berkeley, California garden shrub. They love all that up there. Now, some of you might like the family Rhamnaceae, the buckthorn family, but I guarantee you never seen a subtropical one as beautiful as this. Look at that nice orange rusty indumentum on the bottom, and then there's those flowers. This is Alphistonia, you know, notorious Rhamnaceae flowers. You got the petals and sepals alternating, you know. Like cats and dogs living together, all pandemonium breaking loose. It's a really beautiful flower, and you got that rusty, stuff. It's like a rusty velvet fuzz, you know. But of course, the top of the leaf, the adaxial surface is real smooth. And then, you know, when you see them, and they got the fruits on the little, they look like typical rhamnaceous berries, you know. Hey, how easy do you think it would be for me to get arrested in this country? Probably pretty easy. I imagine this is the type of place where it's pretty easy to piss people off. Okay, Eau-de-Toilette. Okay, so it's not only a Myrtaceous bonanza, a Myrtaceae bonanza, it's also a Podocarpaceae and a, you know, Jurassic age conifer. I shouldn't say that. They're not Jurassic. They're modern members of a Jurassic lineage. A subtropical conifer bonanza as well. There's the cone of Retrophyllum. And you can see, so it is probably, you know, who knows how old this is, how many hundreds of years. Oh, look at all those cones. Oh my God. You know, they just look like little, well, you know, they look like, well, I'll let you to figure out what they look like. But there's dozens of them. They kind of look like our Torreya fruits, you know. Another conifer called California nutmeg. Not a nutmeg, but There you go. Just glistening in the sun. Very resinous. Does smell very conifery. But anyway, that probably germinated a couple hundred years ago, back when the shoreline was over there, and then slowly it's just been eroded. You can see it's still got those nice roots in there just holding on. You know? And that is nice. That's bath water. I mean, for me, that's bath water, you know? I got low standards though, you know? Would you give me $5 to stick my tongue on that? Oh, that's kind of heinous, actually. Another Myrtaceae, Myrtaceous bonanza. This is really an incredible plant. I mean, I believe this is one of only 2 places in the entire world this grows. Both, of course, are on the island of New Caledonia. Dozens of seeds up there, dozens of cones. Eau-de-Toilette. Wonder what the ecology of these is. You know, I bet they float. I bet that's how they get around. They float, you know? Okay, who doesn't love a podocarp? If they put the little sticks in to stabilize the bank. You know, luckily, they made this a park. You know, you got to pay a little, I think it's like $3 to get in, which is good, because everything in New Caledonia is generally a ripoff. So $2 is good to come out here and enjoy, you know, some of Earth's floristic diversity, highly rare and localized. So it is protected, you know. And there's a Dacrydium, I don't know if you could see, but over there, there's a Dacrydium, and this is the only spot it grows. You know, I don't know, maybe Atlanta Botanic Garden's got some too. They've been doing some good work. You live in Atlanta and you haven't been to that botanic garden, you're an asshole. You got to get over there, you know. I'm not going to judge you for living in Atlanta though, so I'm not even going to touch that. Okay? Okay, so look at this rock right here, if you can even call it that. I mean, it looks more like a slag. Just, it feels volcanic, but it's obviously not. I mean, it looks just like slag. It looks like something you'd find on the side of the railroad embankment just off Western Avenue in Chicago, you know? Wouldn't want to get hit in the head with that. It does. It looks like slag, but it's not. Entirely natural, you know? You could put it on your Etsy shop. Just an incredible landscape. So we got Myrtaceae, maybe a little Rutaceae. We got some Rhamnaceae, tons of Podocarpaceae, Cupressaceae. Over on the Chutes de Madeleine with the Eau-de-Toilette. Towelette? Do you need a moist towelette? Would you wash your ass with a moist towelette? You know, I'm really taking it. I'm driving away all the kids, you know, all the viewers. You can't have young children watching this. I don't know why I take it there. Can't you just enjoy the landscape without the obnoxious commentary? No, you can't. You know, this is a very conscientious attempt to drive away anyone who takes themselves too seriously. And there's plenty of those in a world of botany, unfortunate to say. All right, here we go. Look at this, growing stunted, of course. Because it's basically growing out of a piece of iron. Well, it's very porous iron. I want to point that out. It's got a lot of porosity in there. So much so it almost looks volcanic. But this is a species in Myrtaceae, probably a Melaleuca. You know, unfortunately, so much of the flora down here is not very well documented. You know, I've been looking stuff up. I was doing a lot of homework last night, even the last couple of weeks. And a lot of this stuff, you could get the genus, but the species are not even up there, you know, because it's just, I don't think many people come here, you know. I think if they do, I mean, it should be a hot spot for botany, for anyone who's studying. There's so much to study here, you know, evolutionarily, but I think most people just come here for the French beaches, you know. It's like a French resort town, or island, excuse me. Anyway, there's that kind of peeling Melaleuca bark. Melaleuca, of course, same genus as tea tree oil. You know, you put them on your feet when they smell like hell. You know, I was using once, I used to be a bike messenger in New York, for a few months, and I was using some just to, you know, get the general odor of body grease and sweat and hell out of my clothes. And I went into an office once, and there was a lady speaking Spanish there. She didn't know I could understand what she said, and she basically said I smelled like roach spray to her friend. And that was tea tree oil. Anyway, a lot of the, like I said, a lot of those Myrtaceae produce very volatile oils. You know, a lot of them smell pretty good. Eucalyptus being another case. Anyway, you can see the foliage, sclerophyllous, somewhat pointy, waxy, and there's those immature flower buds. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Melaleuca. Yeah, see, there's the woody capsule fruits that just remain attached to the stem of this Myrtaceous bastard. See that? I'm telling you, man, it's gotta be a Melaleuca. And then down here we got another species of Dracophyllum. Remember, that's a member of the Ericaceae, the blueberry family. If you can believe that, it's pretty goddamn odd. There's the tiny flowers, just diminutive little spike of flowers right there. 5 fused petals, somewhat urceolate flowers, you know, urn-shaped. Hey, like a little tube. What do you think pollinates those? Flowering from the top down. And up there we got another species of Podocarpaceae. And here we got a nice little fern dungeon. Some nice little ferns and mosses. On the iron slag rock. You know, anywhere else I think it was a super fun site. Flip it over, see what you got. So, you know, when you look at everything, you get that waxy foliage. All the leaves kind of look similar in a lot of these guys. You really got to get up close and look at those flowers. Like I just did here. Had to unfortunately peel a leaf or two back so you get a nice money shot. But you got a very elongated, salverform corolla with, Jesus Christ, 6 petals on each of them. That's kind of weird for a, which seems to be a dicot. Gonna have to figure this one out earlier. You know, I've been studying this, reading up. You know, the books I got, you know, are heavy enough to knock somebody out with. But you know, this is could be Rubiaceae, possibly Rutaceae, possibly a family I've never heard of before. But one I have heard of before. We're going back to the Myrtaceous dungeon over here, just because it is so lovely. Is Xanthostomon, just growing out of. You know, and it is hot as balls here, I must admit. So you can imagine the substrate has to be even hotter. Just Xanthostomon growing out of, you know, basically what amounts to black slag. Again, it's got those vesicles in it. It's porous, so it's not as brutal as, say, like rhyolite, just pure extrusive silica. But, you know, it's got to be hot. But this guy's doing fine. He's got, looks to be quite a farina on there. A waxy cuticle. Oh yeah, very waxy, very leathery. Coriaceous, and then you got those beautiful flowers. You know, and again, you know, looks like 24 stamens arranged in a ring, and then that little bug antenna coming out the center. That's the stigma. And then you got the little ovary down there. Petals, sepals, ovary, and what the shit. Maybe get some other bracts subtending. Xanthostomon is a pretty wonderful genus. I mean, we've been seeing it the last couple of days. Almost, you know, saw it on the hike where I almost died yesterday. Saw it on some of the Ultramafic spots. It's just, it's a fucking stunner, you know. You can't look at that. Look at that. Okay, I want you to do me a favor. Think about something that makes you really mad. I tend to do that, or used to do it a lot more. I don't do it so much anymore. But think about something that makes you really mad. Okay, you got it? Close your eyes, think of it. Okay, now open your eyes, look at that. You still feel mad? I hope, probably not. Hopefully not. I don't know. If you do, maybe you gotta book a couple more therapy appointments. No shame in that. But either way, that's a stunner right there. Holy shit. The Myrtaceous dungeon. A Myrtaceous bastard. A lovely Myrtaceous bastard. Okay, that's enough of that. I just fucking keep going, you know. There's no style. You gotta come with an off switch. Look at this guy. Look, he's just laid out. Huh? It's like he's passed out drunk. Probably been there for 30 years. It's a long hangover. Melaleuca just kicking it on the, you know, black, extremely hot, iron-rich, whatever the shit this is, you know. And that's the thing I want to show you is, how does this form? It looks like it was molten, but I highly doubt that. I guess possibly, but it could also be just the very iron-rich mud. You know, everything's different in the ultramafic areas in the tropics because it's subjected to so much more weathering. You know, much more moisture. You know, up to, I believe, 1 meter or 2 of rainfall a year. Much more moisture, much more heat. You know, much more vegetative growth. There's just so much more going on here than in temperate areas, or especially desert areas with a xeric climate, you know, where half the year it's dry, which is what I'm used to. But look, I mean, look at it. And it feels like plastic. But again, I feel like I'm up on the train tracks by Western Avenue, and some of the maintenance away guys just got a little lazy, dumped out a bucket of slag, you know, when they were welding some rail together, dumped out a bucket of slag on the side of the ballast. It's very, very weird. It's going to be a question for Dr. Madden over there in Perth. Wonderful man. We got pieced together my last day over there in Australia. Yeah, you know, I don't know. It looks pretty molten. It looks like it was at one point liquid. Could be wrong, and it could just be iron-rich, you know, heavily thick iron-rich. Heavily iron-rich, thick mud, but you know, it's just I don't know. This is beyond my scope of knowledge. So, you know, the green rubbery leaves, Anthostoma, this guy's everywhere. Costularia, Cyperaceae. This might be the plant that makes me start giving a shit about Cyperaceae. You know, about the sedges, because it's hard. I'm gonna be honest. It's hard to really care sometimes. I mean, just in general, you know, in terms of life itself, but especially in terms of Cyperaceae. But this one's pretty interesting. We got a member of the willow family, a subtropical member of the willow family. Okay, this is Homelium canaliense. Okay, almost looks like an oak with those little spikes, you know, just kind of like upright. They kind of look like upright catkins. We seen one yesterday on the east side of the island, you know, after we almost died. Homelium, I forget the species on it, but it was another one. Very large leaves, prominent petioles, and smooth margins, not these dentate margins. And it had just these really long pendant catkins. Very impressive plant. You know, almost looked like it was a goddamn oak. But indeed, it's a member of Salicaceae, the willow family. So anyway, there you go. Tropical willow, Homelium canaliense. Canoliense? Fuck, I could go for a cannoli right now. You ever been in a cannoli eating contest? Huh? How many do you think you could have before you puked? Look at these little guys, huh? Gonna have to bring these back for Alan Rockefeller to sequence. Don't tell nobody. I guess I'm just broadcasting it to thousands of people. Oh well. Very interesting little cup fungi. Growing, it'll be growing on the Ultramafics. Okay, stay irreverent. Eau-de-Toilette. Those are gorgeous. Anyway, that was misleading. I shouldn't say cup fungi. They're basidiomycetes. They're not ascomycetes. I'm just saying they look like a cup, like a chalice, you know, like a little rusty donut, which could also be something very gross. Either way, though, they're growing on the Ultramafics. Look at this guy over here. Oh wait, here's one. Myotocarpus fraxinifolius. I believe that's it might be an endemic family. Oh, there's something stabbing me in the leg. Now this one's really rare. This is a really odd one. Okay? Dacrydium guillauminii. And this is the only place in the world that this grows. is on the Eau-de-Toilette banks of this beautiful little location right here. Don't you just, I want to go swimming there, you know, but I don't know if they want any Dago grease. It's probably, it might sully those beautiful waters. Anyway, these would be the, maybe the microstrobili. You know, it looks like an Araucaria. I wonder how many rings you got on there. I wonder how old that tree is. I'm guessing they're very old. You know, it's just wonders of evolution and shit, you know. Endless forms most beautiful. God damn, look at that. Love to see what the female cones look like. Little berry looking things. Alright, it's a Dacrydium. They probably have an arrow. You know, a little bait berry for the birds. And again, they just obviously they're not very drought tolerant. They need this moisture. And then of course over there you got Dacrydium aracarioides. There's so many Dacrydiums. If you don't know about that genus, you should. It's entirely southern hemisphere. A lot of wonderful species. Some of them grow quite large. Rimu in New Zealand, the famous Rimu trees of Dacrydium. Oh, I'll never make fun of people who care about carex again. Cyperaceae, Gania. It's a monster. Those strap-shaped leaves, you know, for whacking, for getting whacked. You know, for when you've been bad. You know, I think I would get a lot of those. You know, there's probably a lot of people that actually want to do that to me. Anyway, there you go. There's the flower heads. What the shit is that? Almost look like they got some kind of rot, some sort of mold. Dacrydium aracarioides. Then over here, hard to believe this guy's even a Proteaceae. He's a myrtle, but it is. Aerolastrum. I think we seen one of these yesterday. But it was so broad-leaved, I didn't, you know, very leathery, waxy leaves. I didn't think it was we saw a much larger one, probably 2 or 3 feet diameter brush type. Couldn't, you know, I saw the fruits on the ground, looked with little woody capsules, but I almost couldn't believe it was a Myrtaceae. Oh, look at that nice rock. Is that a beautiful color? How about that? Isn't that beautiful? Nice dendrobium, nice orchid. Look at that labellum, got a wavy labellum. With a little grill inside. You know, just maybe a guide to help get the pollinators all up in there with the shit. See that column up top? It's something else, glistening in the sun. Long as peduncle. Over here we got a species of Garcinia. Very odd flowers. Hard sclerophilous leaves, leathery leaves. There you go, I didn't want to focus there. Little 4-petaled flower. Clusiaceae. See, I told you it was a Myrtaceous dungeon. Another Myrtaceous bastard. Tristaniopsis. Again, you know, multiple stamens arranged in a ring around a central ovary and a disc and a stigma. You know, and this one has very glaucous, beautiful blue foliage. So waxy. Look at this. Pancheri hirsuta with those recurved leaf margins. Of course, the thick indumentum on the underside. You know, it feels kind of velvety. At axial surface is pretty smooth and waxy, like they get slapped around with that. Kind of got the pinnate thing going on. You know, just hard to tell because the leaves are held so close to the main stem. This is Cupressaceae. Okay, and it's a big family down here, Cupressaceae. Cunonia is one of the main genera in it. You know, it looks a little ball, almost looks like a cephalanthus. You know, the Rubiaceae that we get up at a button bush or whatever the shit. Cupressaceae is huge. I didn't know anything about this family till I got down here and I just started seeing it everywhere. Oh, looks like, there you go. There's a little inflorescence. An old inflorescence. He's got Myotocarpus, just a tall, you know, sparsely branched Myotocarpus. Jesus. Ooh. Okay, so here we go again. We're talking about Gymnostoma. Okay. Looks like a conifer, but it's not. It's actually in the same order as oaks and beeches. And this is in a family, Cassarinaceae, which is a southern hemisphere family. But you do see the genus Casuarina, as well as Alocassarina, planted as commonly overplanted as horticultural atrocities, you know, in Mexico, Los Angeles, you know, throughout North and South America. But don't hate it because of that, though, okay? Because this whole family is pretty wonderful. They associate with actinomycete bacteria in the ground, mostly in the genus Frankia. And they're just a wonderful, you know, just photosynthetic stems, rudimentary leaves. If you get up there, you could sometimes see, at least on a new growth, just rudimentary leaves. Plants are generally dioecious, that is, they're male or female. Here's what the fruits look like. And then they just open along that seam. They just open along that seam right there and let the little winged seeds out. So a lot of Alocassarina in West Australia, fell in love with them there, stopped hating them, even though, you know, they can be way overplanted. You know, the Cassarinas actually often look like pines. You'll see them, you know, in LA, they look like a weepy pine. You'll see them down there in Mexico. There's one species they plant way too much. They shouldn't be planting them at all because they're out of ecological context there and they get loose. But, you know, and the ones here all have this kind of candelabra shape. Again, convergent with so many other plant families on this harsh ultramafic soil. This stunted candelabra shape. Really a beautiful plant, though. Anyway, there you go, Gymnostoma. I think it's the Plankionum, whoever the plant was. That guy, some French guy. Okay, here's the deal. We're going to give all the climate-denying angry grandpas some psychedelics, get them to stare at this long and hard. You know, just to kind of lock them up, chain them to a chair right in front of this thing, and then see how they come out, I don't know, about 8 or 9 hours later. You know, see if they've had any revelations. What a beautiful plant. Neocallitropsis pancheri, now in Calitris. Not sure if I buy that yet, or it could be bullshit. I haven't read the paper. You know, supposedly they did the DNA work, but we'll see. There's a lot of lumpers out there. You know, a lot of armchair botanists just trying to make a name for themselves. But Cupressaceae for sure. Of course, redwood family. Look at this guy. How do you think this guy is, huh? What do you think old boy is? How old? Stunted, pygmy. It just, but you know, but doing fine in the Ultramafics. And look, he's got a long ear and branch coming out. What an incredible plant. Here's a Myotocarpus again, Fraxinifolius. So it looks like an ash. But again, look at that. Look at the geometry. Look at the fractals. The fractals. You like fractals, huh? What's love got to do? Said it's got to do with it. What's love but a second-hand emotion? What's love got to do with it? Oh, okay. I want you to do me a favor. Say you're going to hell. You know you're going to hell, and you got just. But you can choose your own playlist. Okay. The only catch is it's got to be songs and music that you hate. It's got to be songs and artists that you hate. You know. You got a lineup? I got one. Hootie and the Blowfish. I'd also probably pick that Counting Crows rendition of they paved the parking lot or whatever the shit. It's terrible. I've been subjected to it. All this shit you get subjected to when you have the misfortune to be stuck in any sort of commercial retail establishment. Ooh, what is this? Is that a Rutaceae? Does it have pellucid oil glands in a scent? Anyway, so you're going to hell, but you could pick your worst music. I want you to do that for me. Just type it in the comments below there. You know, absolutely worst song. You know, just torture, just fucking torture. And it's, you're stuck, you know, shoveling shit for eternity with a hot poker in your ear, so you gotta listen to this song. You know, if you're going to San Francisco, that would be another one on my playlist. I don't know what's wrong with me. Anyway, here we go, another Sapotaceae species. And it's just coming up all along the Ultramafics right here. Okay, Sapotaceae Ericaceae. Okay, formerly Beccariella, which remember used to be the southern hemisphere ericas. Oh, yeah, look at those 5 petals. Kind of fringed up top. Or maybe those are just trichomes and hairs. 5 united petals. Another Sapotaceae. Lovely genus. I like the other one better, but to be honest, I like all of them. Okay, you know, I should clarify, just because I was singing Tina Turner doesn't mean it's on my playlist. Okay, I love Tina. Okay, I love Tina. Always have. Okay, I was forced to listen to it as a child, but I still love her. Okay, I'm just saying, that's what's in my head right now. I'm just saying, if you did have to go to hell, and you probably are, what would you choose to put on your playlist? I just, you know, I know I'm really giving this too much camera time, but I can't help it. It's such a beautiful, beautiful plant. You know, so stunted. Love to get an age on some of these. Supposedly some of these can live upwards of quite a few hundred years. Dacrydium. Ericarioides. Look at that. I guess it's just got to be really old, and the senescent foliage, the older branches just kind of fall off. But it's just fucking weird. What a weird shape for a tree. Thing's got to be 80 years old at least, probably. I mean, shit, I'm talking my ass. It's got to be very old. You know, no idea just how old, but you see it growing so stunted like that. Another ancient conifer lineage, same family as Ericarioaceae. This is Agathis. Used to be Agathis ovata. You know, we were just on a mountain during the death march. We've seen these, they get upwards of 30, 40 feet tall at most, but here you go, it's heavily stunted on the McKee. Nice Dracophyllum right there. Oh, some nice lichen. Almost thought that was just shitty teepee. And there's just more of that Melaleuca all over those banks right there. Ah, look at that. Look at that rusty indumentum. So many plants here have that. Unrelated plants. This is Beccariella, Sapotaceae. Velvety. You know, God, it had axial surfaces. Pretty fuzzy too. Look at how tomentose that is. Look at all those hairs. It's like velvety cardboard. Just beautiful too. Almost looking obscene right there, those fruits, but I can't get over that. Jesus Christ. Oh, it's so fuzzy. Yeah, Rutaceae citrus family, Boronella verticillata. You know, crack one of those leaves open, it even smells like it. Those notorious oils, the sacred oils and what the shit that they rub you down with when you go into the Rutaceae dungeon. You know, for the pellucid oil glands. Ooh, look, it's a heinous fungus. Ugh. Ugh. It doesn't smell too bad. Doesn't smell too bad. Maybe I'd eat it. Pretty weird for a fern, huh? Skyzea. Skyzea? Schizo? A little sporangia up top. Just feeling like plastic, just coming out of the ultramafic, heavily iron-rich rocks. And it looks like across the way you got some Ericaria. Just growing on the other side of the Blue River. Convergent, again, convergent among all plant families. you have that candelabra shape. A highly stunted candelabra shape. Look, see? Just get like everything just gets welded together. See, it's like a conglomerate. It's like basically an iron-rich conglomerate. I don't know if it's... What kind of conditions does it take? But I mean, somebody, like, you can't even pry this rock out of there. So it wasn't magma, I knew it. Look at that, there's just, it's all conglomerate. It's like iron-rich, muddy conglomerate that then hardens and lithifies. How about that? Okay, see here, you got both lichens occurring together. You got the Cladia retipora right there. See it looking like a coral. And then you got Cladonia. Where'd the other one go? Cladonia, I think it's this guy. Cladonia leptoclada. See, two of them. Two different species. Perfect illustration. They're just everywhere. And I see one of these guys, I forget which one. I see one of it all over West Australia. Well, not all over. I seen it growing on the granitic outcrops. Pretty weird. Pretty weird. Here you go. Look, both species of lichen. Both species of weird-ass lichen. Cladia retipora down on the bottom. The white one. The coral one. Okay? And then a Cladonia leptoclada up there, the puffy one. It's more poofy, see? One's like a coral, one's more poofy. Pretty weird. Pretty weird. Saw one of those in West Australia and some granitic outcrops. But, you know, sometimes you'll just see it just carpeting the ground beneath these maquis shrubs. Okay, see, there you go. There's Dracophyllum verticillum. You know, do you see now? You believe me that it's an Ericaceae, the blueberry family? Look at all those flowers. You know, formerly a Beccariella, which I became familiar with in Australia. Got quite a few of them down there. Quite a few other genera. Very weird. Almost look like a grass or some sort of weird conifer. They do not look like our Northern Hemisphere ericas. Should you get up close, take a look at those flowers. There you go. 5 fused petals. Got the anthers poking out, the stamens poking out. And then, of course, it just looks like some weird monocot. And they can get upwards of 20 feet tall, as you can see right there. Dracophyllum verticillum. New Caledonia's version of a blueberry. Nice Stiphelia right there, another ericaceous shrub, or tree rather. And then you got the Dacrydium ericarioides everywhere. Got that coral and lace lichen all over the ground. Nice. Podocarpaceae. Flagellaria. Flagellate me. It's just so fucking weird here. I tell you, man, it's all because of that geology. It's all the ultramafics. Dacrydium ericarioides. You know, just looking weird as hell. Tristaniopsis, Proteaceae. Nice parasite over here, Exocarpus Xanthalaceae. It does look like a xanthalum, huh? Like one of the mistletoes. Hemiparasite. Probably stealing either from that Dacrydium ericarioides or from this Rutaceae bastard. And you got a Stiphelia up there, another ericaceous tree. Stiphelia. God damn, look at this vine. Weird flowers, huh? Weird little flowers. And of course here you got Flagellaria. Flagellaria neocaledonica. Order is Poales, the order of grasses, but it's in its own family, monotypic family, Flagellariaceae. I think you got 5 species in the genus, only 1 genus in the family. This is Flagellaria neocaledonica. You know, look how it turns the distal ends of its leaf blades into tendrils. Just to kind of help it clamber up on shit, you know? Pretty interesting. And this is all over the island, you know, at least at the lower elevations. Flagellaria. flagellarium. Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know why I did it. Never mind. Just forget I said that. Does it really cost that much to hold on to that all that old foliage? I guess so, because everything grows like that. The stunted candelabra shape. It's a Crampes trademark. Anyway, there you go, Araucaria rulei. It's all I got for you today. I hope you feel a little bit better than you did when you started watching this. Hope you're not mad at me for wasting your time. Maybe you feel better, hopefully. I feel a lot better being out here. Yeah, the world's going to shit, but what a beautiful world it is once you step outside of, you know, humanity. The whole human problem, you know? Anyway, that's all I got for you tonight. Have a lovely rest of your day, and go fuck yourself. Bye.